We're back, people, and today we're breaking a film on the Ravens offense for this Dolphins game, seeing how they can slow it down, attack attack the offense like that. I think overall, looking at the running game, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, Hill is their more explosive back, Edwards bigger guy, banger up front. I'm not super worried about like their sort of basic running game. Obviously, Lamar can get involved. That's always a dangerous threat. Dolphins stop the run very well. I think if they can stop the run, which they've done pretty much all year since week one, I feel very comfortable, slowing down the offense at least a little bit. But I think when you really look at this team, it comes down to their passing attack and how you can slow them down, especially on their early, like first, second downs. They are quick, get the ball out of the hands of Lamar Jackson fast. If you can, this is like the key to the game in my opinion, because they'll run some basic concepts like this and they want to get that ball out of Lamar's hands fast. People like to blitz Lamar, and I feel like he's improved at that so much over the past like year or two, getting the ball out, knowing where his hots are. And if you can, force these incompletions like this and put them into third and long situations, that's when Lamar kind of has to hold on to the ball, and that's where you can get a little more. Like, I feel like the Dolphins will be pretty basic with their calls on these downs, but when you get them to like third and long, they're going to start running these stunts up front, giving different looks. That's where you can bring blitzes. Teams run a lot of cover one versus the Ravens, where they end up bringing five. You have one guy that can still have eyes on Lamar, playing man-to-man on the back end, and you work your five, and then after that, it's like the rush lanes are so important. The rush lanes need to be, disciplined. You want to, take your angles. If you have a free thing on Lamar, you don't need to be over aggressive to it to the point of attack. Contain him, but also I'd rather have you constrict run lanes up the middle, or like the lanes in the middle on your pass rush lanes. Don't allow them to be too big, because that's where he would love to escape. If you would force him outside of it, I would rather have that. Obviously, just a big threat in those areas. He's a solid player. But yeah, slowing down that quick passing game, getting him into third and long, and then doing stuff like this. As you can see, it's a cover one. He's not going to be able to be in rhythm as much. He feels a little bit of pressure, misses the timing off of this, just misses the play. Third and incomplete. They're showing a lot of pressure pre-snap. It's just he's good against pressure, but when he has to hold on to it for a tick longer, that's where he can face a little bit of stuff. They bring five. Niners did a pretty good job actually in this game. I would say containing Lamar. He had like one big run, but they did a good job like with their stunts up front, not having a bunch of rush lanes. Like Lamar didn't even attempt to run a lot of the time. And as you can see, they work a lot of this stuff, and there's not really anywhere because both works the inside. Warner loops around, and it just would all confuse Lamar if he did try to escape. It makes it a lot more difficult if everyone's moving around like this, and then it's trying to get the ball out and they just miss their guy there, force Lamar to throw the ball down the field all game long. That's kind of what you're going for. I mean, Lamar's still obviously a very good player, not trying to take anything away from him there. The receivers overall pretty good too. Zay Flowers, stud rookie. Isaiah Likely, I think, is a very solid receiving tight end as well. I think they have some other decent players with Bateman and Beckham that can do some stuff. So, I mean, not the greatest wide receiver group they face, but definitely nowhere near the worst. I think they can find some success for this offense. They obviously did pretty good versus the Niners, but a lot of that also came off of turnovers, so this should be a pretty interesting game. Niners did play a decent amount of like single high stuff. They did a lot of one, cover three match. I think if you're playing three match, the Ravens did get, like, this is a 2nd and 5 situation, so Lamar tries to hold on to the ball a little bit longer than usual. Sometimes this will happen, but usually I feel like when he does hold on to the ball for this long, like, he has a super clean pocket. They're not able to get to him at all. He ends up taking off. He just misses his mark on this one, so just I think making him hold on to the ball longer than he wants to. Obviously, you're trying to get a little more pressure on him than this. This is like really the only way you can potentially slow them down is not allow him to escape the pocket and then force him to hold on to the ball with extra hitches, because that's where he gets a little more uncomfortable. Niners brought their pressure. They did this because they didn't want to, like, look how Fred Warner's playing this. It ends up being like the safety where he trips over the umpire. And Niners go basically cover zero here and then double up down here in the slot. And it's very interesting how this ends up working out. But getting the free runner, it's always kind of scary to play man versus a quarterback like Lamar that can always escape. If he makes that guy miss, there's like no one else to stop him. But this also makes it difficult for him to leave that pocket when you have five. These guys working over here, making sure he can't escape to the left. And you have Warner coming in unblocked. And look how patient he is. You got to be patient as a pass rusher. And Lamar tries to escape out of it, which he definitely would have had a chance if he didn't get tripped over by the ref and ended up being a safety, which is, unfortunate for the Ravens offense. Here's one of the few examples where Lamar actually did escape the pocket in this game. There was like 2 times this really happened and it had some success. Niners playing quarters and actually, distribute the routes on the back end very nicely. Not paying too much attention to that. I feel like the Ravens offense, like their passing, like schematics, there's nothing too insane with it. It's pretty normal, basic stuff. Like they can still have some big plays, but usually those stuff come later on. But yeah, looking at Lamar, really focusing on this. Niners only bring 4. They don't actually do too much up front. That's why I think you're going to have to work a lot of stunts, which the Dolphins do. And Lamar has a bunch of times, and now he's able to escape. Like these lanes open up. This guy gets pushed too far upfield with 2 guys. Now Lamar feels that open, and he's going to pick up a nice 9 yards on a 2nd and 12 situation. 2nd and 4. If they have the numbers, they're going to throw these quick passes. They definitely have like hots like this, quick screens, RPOs. He likes the look of what he's seeing. Lamar Jackson, I know, people think of him as just like that athletic runner. He's actually a very intelligent quarterback. He gets that ball out quickly. He recognizes things pretty well. That's why, you got to be, very good defensively, very disciplined, and you got to show him looks that he's just not ready for. And because they're going to have stuff, they're going to have a lot of answers. If you can take away those answers when you're hot, like if he doesn't have that initial hot, that's where things can get uncomfortable for him, but he usually knows exactly where to go with it. This ends up being a legal use of hands, but just watch this throw from Lamar Jackson. This is like one of the best throws I saw in film from this Niners game. The anticipation is actually ridiculous here. Like, I wouldn't say he's, storing with crazy anticipation every play, but he's clearly has that talent to do so. He gets that one-on-one look at the bottom here. He's feeling a little bit of pressure. This ball is starting to be released now, and Beckham hasn't even started until 3 yards later, or that's Bateman actually. But yeah, just that type of stuff is ridiculous from Lamar Jackson. This is a 2nd and 8 situation. Niners try to go 0. So, I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, I've been a Dolphins fan for the last couple of years, the Dolphins have run cover 0 a whole bunch. And they did it against the Ravens the last 2 times they faced them. And I think Lamar really struggled in that first matchup against them 2 years ago, I believe now. The one with the Robert Hunt catching it type of play. And then they tried to do the same thing last year against him in that game where he went crazy, Tua went crazy. It was a super high-scoring game, crazy comeback. But they try to use that cover 0. And for the most part, Lamar knows exactly how to beat that now. He gets the ball quickly. He knows his hot options. And they've definitely made their adjustments. They've done a better job blocking it up too. So Dolphins don't really run a ton of 0 anymore anyways. But just showing this to show that Lamar's made those improvements, and I don't really expect them to do that a whole bunch. Maybe show it once or twice. The off-script stuff will always be a part of Lamar's game. He's always been good at it. It's more than just running. Sometimes you just escape the pocket, keep your eyes downfield, and make a good, accurate throw. He's obviously, I think, more of a threat when he can get going with his legs, but when he can get going with his legs but still make throws with his arm, that makes him an even more of a dangerous threat, and that's going to be there. So sticking with your guys in scramble drill will definitely be important. And here's his big run. It's 3rd and 16. Niners, playing some 3 match down at the bottom, and Lamar's just able to escape. Niners do a good job on the back end, and he just makes Fred Warner look silly. I wonder if they'll run a spy in this game. You got to just be more disciplined in your pass rush, especially on a 3rd and 16 situation. And I understand they get him actually pretty corralled here, but I think, the right end goes around too far. And then once they make that miss, boom, he's gone out to the side. These defensive tackles have no chance. Fred Warner takes a absolutely horrible angle, not able to adjust. And Lamar's I swear to God, Lamar's running at 80%, all the time. He's never getting 100, and he still just makes people look silly. The Ravens touchdowns, multiple of them did come off of turnovers. So, while they scored a decent amount of points, I would say the defense was also a big part of that. The Ravens offense looks good, eye test-wise. They also have some pretty good red zone play calling with how they set this up. Get this fake pitch, get this flowing horizontally. Look at the effect it has on the defense. And then, hit that seam down the middle to Zay Flowers, who's a very good player. I was a big fan of him pre-draft coming out of Boston College. Definitely got to pay attention to. I don't know if he's playing or not. I know he was injured to start the week. But yeah, if he's not playing, that's actually a pretty big loss for their offense because I think he's their best receiver. Want to show this play because Isaiah Likely is actually so good. I'm a big fan of Likely's game. I think he's an amazing route runner. He's super fluid. He's good after the catch. Tough guy to get down. He's physical, as you can see. I actually kind of think he's been Mark Andrews is one of the best tight ends in the NFL, but I feel he got injured, wasn't having his best year ever. He was still playing pretty good, but honestly, I feel their offense might have got even better with Isaiah Likely being so prominent in it, and he's a weapon, and him and Lamar seem to have pretty good chemistry, so I think keeping an eye on him. The Dolphins have been decent versus tight ends this year, but I think that's somewhere that other teams could possibly take advantage of. Let's put the breakdown. This is 3rd and 5. The Niners are able to get a sack showing some pressure pre-snap, giving him some different looks, and then looping the linebacker around. There's just nowhere for Lamar to go with the ball. He's going to try to you got to have good coverage on the back end, obviously, because he wants to get rid of the ball quickly. That's like his first thing, but it's not there. So now that his like first read isn't really there for him to throw it to and get that easy first down, he's going to try to escape. But look how much better they do a job of constricting the run lanes. The guys off the edge, you can't get widened too far. Look at Chase Young this time. He makes the adjustment. Once he starts to get past the quarterback, he takes an inside angle. Then Lamar like works right into all of that, and then like look how they set this up with Fred Warner. They knife down to the inside. Warner's gonna loop around, thinking maybe he could escape through there. That's not an option. Take away that throwing lane. So yeah, working those types of stuff I feel like is the best way. Fangio's gonna have to be in his bag. Lamar Jackson, incredible player. That's like the big focus for this defense for sure. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace.